Hello everyone, to those watching the Facebook live session that's been recorded, welcome. This is the fourth Australia Award Scholarship Facebook live session talking about scholarships starting in 2025. We'll wait a couple of minutes for anyone who wants to attend this live session and then we will. If you're watching right now and you have a few questions that you have, don't wait. Just type it in the group chat, and then when we come to the question and answers session, we can answer the questions that you have. This is the fourth out of the fifth Facebook live sessions that we will run, and so I highly encourage you to ask questions now before applications close. Okay. So welcome to the Australia Awards Solomon Islands, Australia Awards Scholarship Facebook information session, talking about scholarships, applications for scholarships for study commencing in 2025. My name is Venice, and I have a Australia Awards alumni, Cynthia Ho, with me, who I'll let introduce Seleva so that she can talk about her experience and her best tip that she would like to give you if you're in the middle of writing your application. So before we start, I'll just say a warm welcome. Thank you, Tomas, for making time out of your busy schedule for you to come attending this live session. Um, just some housekeepings. Just when you're commenting, just keep things very respectful, and just behave in a respectful manner. No. All questions, no questions is too silly. We are happy to answer any questions that you have. So no pride, just ask them. So for today's session, we will just go over through the application process. Essentially, we're touching base on how to set up an Oasis account and just a few tips on the Oasis application questions. And then we will give at least 10 minutes to Cynthia to have a bit of talk story with the new follower on her best tips on how to write a great application, about her experience, some very valuable insights from her. And then next, we go into a bit more about what does selection looks like. Yeah, so selection coming from merit based, it has a lot of steps and it's a transparent process. And then after, we will have a question and answer opportunity, and then we can answer a lot of frequently asked questions as well. So it's relax, but also ask questions as well. Before we start, we just want to just reminder that session one, session two, and session three are Facebook links. Blomikola, you are watching either through the Australian High Commission Facebook page. We have posted those links over there or through our YouTube channel. As we're talking, my colleague will put the links on the chat box. So if you want to access it after our session, feel free to do so. So without further ado, we'll go to our next page. So we'll talk about the application process. Essentially, the application process, they do know for online application through a portal called Oasis. So the Oasis and online. So applications this time is fully online. We don't accept any hard copy. So we're encouraging you just for get a bit more of get used to using online tools. Yeah? I'm sure a lot of you have already created an Oasis account, but for those that haven't, what we encourage you to do as a step one is to go in Google OASIS at DFAT online, and then from there we go to a web page where you can create Oasis account for you. Yeah. So in order to register an Oasis account or an Oasis application, you need to have an existing email. So that could be an Outlook email or a Gmail. So a prerequisite to that one is if you don't have an email, create an email first time and then you just go and register. Reminder, please use your legal name, Noma, wear him inside passport blue or other IDs you got. Creating password below you, make sure you save your password there. Password there is only you know that have access to the password. We don't. So Make sure you write them somewhere or you send them to yourself in a safe place. Now, once you create that one and you want to log in using your, let's say, username or your email address, but you first step you by using a password that you have created. Now then it will send an authentication password to your email. So then we go back to email blue, check your inbox. If it's not in your main inbox, it might be in your junk mail. And you copy paste and go back to Oasis. Then you press and then you go into the Oasis application. There you will have the option of choosing AAS, which is Australia World Scholarship, or AAPS, which is Australia World Pacific Scholarship. So those wanting to study in Australia, please choose an Australia Awards scholarship. After doing that one, then you will have to fill in the lot of the sections. A lot of the sections essentially is your date of birth, if you have kids, the name of your kids, emergency contact, really basic. And then you go into answering a lot of the core questions, which is what course you want to study, at what institution, examples of your leadership that you've demonstrated in your workplace or community as well. But don't worry, we will go into a bit about how to answer those questions later on in our session. Reminder within Oasis, this is a website that everyone across the globe that's applying for an Australia Award scholarship are using, which means that when you have a lot of people trying to access it, this portal essentially crashes. And so if you're in the middle of your application and you're just polishing up in the next couple of weeks, I would highly advise you, if you're happy with the application, to submit 2 weeks before April, 2 weeks in the middle of April before the closing date. In that way, application you can come through. We don't want really quality application not being submitted just because you last minute with them. So as we're talking, my colleague will give us links that I'm talking about in the chat box as well. Other than that, um, I will hand over to our Australia Award Scholarship alumni, Cynthia. She did a Masters of Law with us from the University of New South Wales recently. And then I'll just hand over to her to go through a bit about what advice has been company.
Thank you, Venus. So basically, Venus introducing Venus, media master of law, University of New South Wales or Sydney. So maybe experience when maybe specific to Sydney. However, side application that relevant to everyone who has states now. So firstly, we'll talk about the there are a lot of tips where outside this Musabe or other alumni. However, top three kalau kami share po di kalau in the process or if I'm started. First one what helped me is having more than one draft. So this one we talk in terms of essay reading, which is a bulk of things we talent and it's an essay. So having more than one draft is very important. So in order for getting more than one draft, you have to have enough time. So enough time when you start this time. Nah, if you don't start it, just start this time. The experience for me, we try to start, we wait in perfect day, tomorrow also we start, another day, we start. But we believe the experience for me and shown that you may get a good essays inside you. I want to say that you just need to take them out. So you outing we can have this one outing right now. Naroon bakamo, then naroon you get quality. Yeah? And na go say take. Maybe inside you mo, you need in time to take them out. So advice, start now, just start. Yeah, just start over. If you think first thing say, may answer also you writing down this time. Time you start right and not bad. Ideas to go forward. So first tip na just start and just do it now and giving you more time for kind of one or more than one job. So the first tip, side lo writing essay. Second one, research. Research side lo application time and very important. You set up application of the year. Take ownership of him. You like him to study, you must invest in time for research. Research and by helping you I'm writing essays for example. If you choose one for program, yeah, if you like writing essay, the what not program of the you need to understand what not program all about. For example, what not program skills can be new. Secondly, what not assessment were inside no program side no specific units now in research pedagogy. Because if you have a lot of one, then it will be easy to say, okay, this one I'm gonna like him to us. Then you write the essay, you gonna out come out of reach information where you research. So the next research is very important for you to not stop writing quality while including things where you actually research about. And what is already and some too. And the second one. And third one, write simple but clear. Yeah. So sekali ini meeting ini senang language ini. Sekali ini hati ekspresi misalnya the way where you think of a life for reading and my life. You know, sometimes information we like is not very important. So if you share a simple way we understand it, and okay. So you write simple stuff, and then if you need help, giving go someone who's pressure with editing on, for example, me, alam mo those who are interested, if you like reach out on your Facebook for me, um, bisa reach out for me through lo traffic. And then through you, then through me, and it's like doing, oh, and now you might need to sales and pressure. So na right simple naman. Imagining you got a conversation with someone, so you ask them na what question, what na ilang tayo. Because occasionally practical pagkukunan is like challenge. So right simple more and clear. But simplicity and clearness will come from research and understanding what you actually like to, and also having enough time to do it. They're not very polite. So in order for getting enough time for doing, one something to explain to me is me you invest every documentation requirement, you take your best before we just focus on me and what essay no one because every certify everything so you've done things no. So stress for that one and let them you got enough time to concentrate and focus that you got quality essays until you got a due date to it. So I think I'm not side law of tips for right stuff but like Canva, you said Richard kamu social media gue Facebook, you always on Facebook. Richard kamu famous for it. Second, something like for instance, I'd advise for those who are like studying masters. So maybe doing masters not by research, but by coursework diploma. And what can help me through choosing program is importance of research. Research in a uni, like in a program, when you go further, research is not involved just online. You can talk to someone. For example, if you like a YouTube New South Wales, me Kasim, maybe Miss Hattie, talk to someone. Or anyone who's starting around the locally, talk to them. Yeah, ask them. Research can help you for you choosing best program and things where you particularly. For example, saya maybe like kalau university where barang itu sama staff where totally aware of context specific, yeah, or the current work experience specific, so that environmental area we gonna have in this area specific, climate change, taka lo Australia atau local space. So we choose that one about have the this, for example, climate refugee, personal right to look at handling the New South Wales. So look for things yang specific to what you look for. So this is the belt we doing that. And then they look for admission recently of this program. You would they look and then you be ambitious, like a lot of top university, like top 10, top 1, but also aware of what my capabilities by you survey. Saving, for example, maybe like a one part, some work experience, maybe certain years work experience, passing risk for whether by success or by success. If you are already respect, then you will accept. So research will help you identify risk and what you actually like them, or you choose not to use when you are like volunteer. So I think we customers, but I'm not mostly for advice for those masters. Because masters and mostly people work with our what standard of education, what exposure in Finnish and what not with the next research having this part courses. There's something we like to speak to him more. So let me speak fast to us. We get used to the fast. But second one we like Oklahoma experience we will Australia living on the institution level, which is the University of New South Wales. So Sydney now. What we expose to him there is quality education. What we mean by that one means someone where loving library tools and resources for library no University of New South Wales and Karen and Barastaka tools means we're going overwhelmed that we access to all this database just because we student projects access to it impossible because of that one. So in giving me this support in terms of resources like law articles, researches before we write not assessment. So kind of quality education, autonomy experience in Australia, but libraries open full night a single time, so access to things at your own disposal. Other supports available too, like mentoring and all the other support were there. What they experience in this or experience to me is that you know what will impact you, school and impact you and beyond too. Even mental health you're taken care of as well too. So you stress, but you also kind of support for that. Side law school, me make sure what something we experience, we make sure that every lecturer is from me, every unit we take him, although I'm trimester based, we must approach lecturers, everyone who having daily conversation with them or consultation. And very important for environment lecturers are not accessible too. So by the end of the term, every lecturers we current attend, everyone sabe me and whatnot, how eager me for learning and also helpful to us to ask for so autonomy getting off the network is still karena emails kita communicate with some of them because of that our experience. Now something to Australia multicultural. So we come from diverse culture too, but kami berusaha making aware for something about traditional culture and learn it too because Australia awards and not just in solo, but also immigrant students come from different countries around the world too. And part law is a program that giving you time to interact with them. They interact with them, you learn more to be aware, open-minded, but also saving guna yumi as you sit down with the people. Remna other experience to me, quality education, multicultural experience for me, or cultural mission for me, and also networking with the lecturer and opportunity for doing that. Lastly, we like to know what the best stakeholder me Australia. So, what pa without goes without saying is professional development. Being part of this pala experience and being part of the awards and became me able to attend conferences, Nara Uni, or a lecturers for me to be in touch with different people, and then building too knowledge gaining as well as networking, which is very important because you need to work together. So some of our issues being as a country and the platform and the and I think the last one too, like Kalamuma, is be someone where you will solo you functional in terms of community, yeah. University lo there there are different communities where you can be part of. The highlight na we go there be part of simple community because we enjoy na play soccer and so being part of them we learn it through we play with the lecturers for too. Law lecturers for me nothing sabe like play football only one team with right. So we play with the and network with that. Partner also highlight the networking ability to make that are readily available can help you as a student and you especially on this hour. Do you know any college of that? I'll take you this. Brilliant. Okay. Thank you so much, Cynthia. To anyone watching, we highly encourage you. This is a chance we can ask Cynthia any question. This would be the opportunity as Cynthia will be leaving soon from our session. So I'll give a couple of minutes. Please ask questions. Okay. Yes. Okay. If anyone got any question, you can contact Cynthia or Facebook. Cynthia Honi. Cynthia very help me pronounce it good. But she's available on Facebook. Please reach out to her. She's more than happy to help. But before you reach out, then do a bit of research faster so that you go ask me any question. It's a very specific question. If Nirnan got any question, thank you so much, Cynthia, for taking time and just giving your valuable experience to anyone watching the lives now or later on. We will say goodbye. So thank you, Cynthia. And then we will move on to our next step. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Cynthia. And to anyone watching, this Facebook Live session will be uploaded on our YouTube links, our YouTube channel, and so you can rewatch this session later or on our Facebook page as well. So we'll move on to our next topic, which is essentially what is the selection process like. Yeah? So our selection process is merit-based, it's multi-step, then it's a transparent process. There's a lot of mini steps involved. Yeah? Applications, essentially I'll go through how it looks, what it looks like. Yeah? So applications will be shortlisted after eligibility checks. So when 30 April comes, we will go into eligibility check-in, and then shortlisted candidates will be contacted for an interview and a written test. The applications are assessed following these criteria. So we're looking for the holistic candidate. We're looking for academic competence, the potential outcome, particularly impact on development outcomes for Solomon Islands. The next thing we're looking at is professional and leadership attributes and potential. So this is where you can link back to your relevant work experience or your community work as well. We will notify the successful candidates as well as support those that are based in the province. So for those that are based in the province, if you're shortlisted for interview, we will contact you in advance. We will arrange your logistics coming into Honiara. We will support you in terms of per diem and accommodation so that you can have a fair access to everyone else that are based in Honiara. For those that identify as having a disability, for example, karena hearing impairment or eye sight impairment, there's a particular part in the application where you can flag this. And it's really important to flag this in your application. So if you're shortlisted to come into interview, we can make adjustments that are reasonable. So you have an input as everyone else do, yeah? For example, asking if you have a hearing impairment, we can essentially ask the panel members to speak a bit louder. In that way, everyone has a fair start. One of the selection steps that Nicola expressing as well is around the interview time or after the interview time, you would have to sit an English language testing. So Australia Awards have really strict benchmarks, and you have to meet it in order to get awarded a Australia Awards scholarship. For example, we might sit a TOEFL or an IELTS test. Whether it's one of the two, it's not guaranteed, but it could be either or. Yeah? So, for example, the TOEFL. TOEFL have testina for basic things. Your listening, your reading, your writing, and your speaking. Now, I would highly advise you, even if you're in the middle of writing your application or polishing your application off, right now would be a good time to follow a little bit research ahead on what preparation for an English language test looks like. Yeah? What
time you need to allocate in order to prepare ahead. You don't want to experience you prepared for an interview, but you're not prepared for an English language test. Or, for example, if you're going to sit an IELTS test, the band score that you need for Garen is at least the overall band score of 6.5. So the IELTS is out of 9 now. And again, him testing, listening, writing, speaking, and for key ones. So essentially, you need to have 6.5 overall with no band score less than 6.0. And for that, Mika Garam a specific session, which is on April 9, 2024, where we go into a bit more detail into how to prepare for an English language test. Just a big tip, there's a lot of free online resources that are related to TOEFL or IELTS. And as we talk by colleague by him copying into the chat box that you make accessing, watching more YouTube videos so that you can be a bit more prepared as well. In terms of preparation as well, you need to know what type of learner you are. There's different type of learners. There are people that are more learning more by writing or listening or both. Yeah, we call them kinesthetic learners. And so you need to know the type of learner you are in order to sabi which particular resources na you need for accessing in order to prepare well for an English language test. So essentially, this is the overview of what it looks like. Yeah, I'll just give a summary right now. We will go through application, which is now, and application is closed. Then we go into eligibility check-ins, and then shortlisted shortlisted applicants will be contacted in order for them to sit an interview. We will support provincial, especially those in the provincial areas, or the offline in Puhanera, so you can sit the interview. Make sure if you change your contact below you, make sure you let us know if you're shortlisted or so that we call because I'm reaching you. So make sure your emergency contact is up to date. So these are the things that you will fill in your OSS application. And essentially, after that, you will sit a English language test. So just a tip for that one as well. If the course that you're choosing at a particular Australian institute can English language benchmark higher than the Australia Awards benchmark, then you need to prepare to aim for the highest score. Yeah? After that one, then we can move into placements. If you go to the next step, we go into placement, admissions, and then we go into mobilization as well. So you need to, there's a lot of steps. There's a lot of preparation. So if you haven't started those preparation, I would highly encourage you to start now. Just a tip as well for the interview. If you're writing your application right now, before you submitting, please download your own copy so that if you shortlisted to an interview, you already have a copy there. So you are prepared a few weeks ahead. Yeah? So does anyone have any particular question that they have? Okay, so we've had a few email inquiries that have come through our inquiries inbox. And so while we're waiting for anybody who wants to ask a question, by me just taking time for me just answer them other question that other game come. Me, okay. So this person that had asked this question, I'm asking for tips on how to answer specific questions inside the law OSIS application. Essentially, the main thing is how you write the application is up to you. However, I can give you general tips on how to answer those questions. So one of the first key questions is how did you choose your proposed course and institution. Yeah. This is where Cynthia's tips really come in handy. You need to really know why you choose a course and why you choose an institution. Yeah. It needs to align with your passion and what you really want to do for impacting development your solo. um, this is where you can also use DAPA. Yeah, so we're not saying for aim high to the highest university. We're asking you to find the best fit university, of course you like them. So research, ranking is something people look at, or also as Cynthia talent. If particular faculty we like study at, it will sabi more about the specific context. In that way, learning by him better for you because you have transferable knowledge will come back and bringing that to solo. So this is where you would use a lot of data as well. As well as this one, in terms of institution, the location of where you choose him important as well too, yeah. So if you're somebody that really values community and you would want to be a bit closer to home, then Queensland might be a better suited place for you, yeah. So you can come back to Solo more frequently. Same. If you wanna go and experience like colder weather, then Canberra or Tasmania might be something you might be interested as well. So there's different universities with different tracks to them too. Yeah, so it's up to you to search like this is the particular location that I want to study at because of A, B, and C. So, that's how tips that I would answer your proposed course in institution. The next question, sorry, bear with me, is how the proposed study contribute back to Korea Blue. Yeah? Be really clear about how the course links back to your career when you come back. This is where you can cite specific skills or knowledge. So, for example, if a particular course is really emphasizing work integrated learning or practicals, an example is well, is gaining skills and knowledge from, let's say, for example, if you're doing a Master's of Law at in work integrated learning law particular course, some mechanicals waka or volunteer for one firm law, example, Melbourne. Then what you can say is, well, this a particular course hence allow me for me go, let's say, work experience for firms in Melbourne and what standards work of firms or are really good or really high quality. And so that one misalnya can come back when I come back to solo and try to implement it in a firm that I would like to start up. So these are just examples. No, I'm not telling you what to say, but just giving you guidance of you need to be really specific in how you write the skills and knowledge. Yeah? You can also cite specific professional benefits as well as the new tasks and outfits. So what new things can you learn from your particular course in Oz that have not that would be really relevant in solo but has not been done before? So what new things can you bring back? Yeah. So this is how you can frame your answers as well. The next thing is about ask how may you contribute to solving a challenge and implementing a change or reform? Yeah? Essentially, depend on work experience, yeah. So for those that are in high school right now, um, your work experience might not be as vast as those that are already working. So for those in high school, I think outside the box and ask questions like, well, have I volunteered for a community organization? Yeah? Did I demonstrate implementing change and solving a challenge there? Or if you want to call a student leader of school below you, or for example, if you do work part-time, there's different ways we can demonstrate an answer to answer this particular question. For those that are working right now and are aiming for a master's or a PhD, how you answer question by him a bit more advanced.
and so you can cite your work experience as well. Essentially, this is a leadership question. So, as Cynthia Talent, keep it really simple. A method that you can use is the STAR method. So you can start with, well, what was the situation, or and then the task, what was the task that you had to solve, and then action, what steps did you take or your team take, and then ARA, results, what happened at the end. There's so many ways to write up an answer. Essentially, up at the end of the day, it's really up to you how you answer the question. And then another one would be give up to three practical examples of how you intend to use the knowledge, skills, and connections that you've gained for this course, and list any possible constraints. So those are pretty simple ones. I would really give specific examples of, okay, this is the knowledge that I want to take and bring back to solo. This is the skills and this is the connection. And connection can be broad, and it's not just particularly limited to university view, but it can also be the wider connections that you make in the community as well while in Australia. The tips is that after you draft them on application lawyer, you go back and you ask if so what? This is the question. You Q&A you seleba. Or better yet, get yourself an alumni mentor. So Australia Awards alumni mentor, someone that is currently studying in Australia, or someone who have already finished studying under our scholarship, that have gone through this process so that they can QA your work. Yeah? Make sure you also got him another mentor who make sure that the grammar be correct. Essentially, at the end of the day, you want to do your best application as possible, and it takes a lot of drafts to get to that particular stage. I think the biggest tip that I can give is you make sure examples you give into application feel realistic, and if you can prove that by citing sources. So this is where our a lot of our reports, let's say for example, national development goals or our Solomon Islands report on particular areas can come in handy. Make sure you back up what you're saying with proof and evidence. Other than that, these are the main tips that I can give to you. But if you got any question, please ask her. While we're waiting, we will go through a lot of the frequently asked questions that kami pagorang community staff are asking. So I will just answer those questions while we wait for anyone ask them. So one of the key questions that have been asked is there an age limit? What if I'm 45 and I'm really interested to do a master's program or a bachelor's for the first time, and can I apply? Yes. Yes, you can apply. There is no upper age limit. So regardless of what age you are at, you can apply as long as you're 18 years and above. Another question that has been asked a lot is, well, what institution can I put into my application? What are my course preferences? So for Australia Awards, for study commencing in Australia in 2025, there are over 55 institutions that you can apply for. So if you can just Google, so take note of it if you're watching this later, type in participating institutions, Australia Awards, you will have the list of the 55 institutions. So those are a lot of institutions that, and these not only include of universities, they also include TAFE, they also include Aviation Australia. There's a lot there. So basically, you have a lot to choose from. So don't just limit yourself to what are the good universities in Australia, but just do a bit of research. Recommend finding the best fit, no matter as possible. Another thing that people might be curious about is, well, what are the benefits of this scholarship? So I'll just run through a brief of, there's a lot of benefits, but the key main ones is it's a fully funded scholarship. So full tuition blue if you're doing a master's or a bachelor's or a PhD, fully funded, everything funded. The next thing is if you're going unaccompanied, meaning that you're not bringing your family over, the scholarship will meet your reunion airfare. So on the holidays, your student contact officer will send you back to Canada or come back to solo so that you can spend time with family. If you're bringing family over with you, so you're going to be labeled as an accompanied scholar, which means that kami wala no may dinner because family way over there. Anyone got a question? Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. So Laura had a question. Can I apply for a bachelor's degree with my diploma? Okay. Yes, yes you can. However, you need to note that the particular institution that your the particular course at the particular university or institution that you would like to go to, you make sure you survey na entry requirements. Make sure the particular diploma you got in na entry requirements. And that research yung up to you na to do. If you research in particular university or institution na have no recognizing diploma you survey even email mo tago. So, hey, you're not applying for admissions, but you just ask me. We just like to clarify mo. We got a diploma with this one. We got an X amount of work experience. What are the chances of me getting admitted? Just know if you come through non scholarship process, you're gonna apply for admissions, but this is just in terms of informing you to make a suitable course choice. Another frequently asked question is, well, oh, can I study in the Pacific? That's a good question. So generally for now, no. The scholarship is only for those studying in Australia. Another frequently asked question is what in regards to the English language testing. So if you already have an existing valid English language testing, meaning that it's valid first of January next year, whether it be a TOEFL test or an IELTS test, using your application will. Yes. Oh, beautiful. Okay. We have a question. Can I write a CV if I have work experience, but it doesn't match up with the course I choose? Really, really good question. Okay, let me just think about it. Can I write a CV if I have work experience, but it doesn't match up with the course I chose? Yes, you can write a CV with the work experience blue. If you're choosing a particular course, for example, work experience blue is in, let's say, health, and you want to do, let's say, a bachelor's in project management. Try to find in the inside work experience blue. I'm sure there's particular tasks that are related to the course that you like. Pull them out now the examples of tasks that are mostly related to the particular course and linking. So basically, I'm after you for linking back. A lot of fields that you they have transferable skills, so that's where I have advantage. Linking back. Kelly, I'm just gonna add on just as an example. So I studied a bachelor's of law, and so and then what I'm doing right now is more coordinating and program management. So what me studying at the initial page at the initial start can be different from what I'm doing. However, everything is transferable. So if I was to do, example, a master's of project management, but my degree was different. But I will be trying to find linkages in my work experience and how about connecting back to different career routes that me like it. If you have any follow-up question, more, ask them. I'm happy for delve into more detail. Okay. So Gloria asked, there's two options, AAS and AES. Which one should I choose? So for study in Australia, you have to choose in the AAS, which stands for Australia Awards Scholarship. I'll just refresh this. There's another question. What if I go through the interview selection but then fail to pass my English language test? That's a good question. My tip for now would be you go and when you apply, go with the attitude that I also need to prepare for my English language test. And so the mentality behind that is that if I was given a chance to do an English language test, me like him acing on the first go round. Okay. So what if I choose an AAPS? What will happen to my application? So for this particular scholarship, which is the Australia World Scholarship, which is for Australia, if you choose an AAPS, the application due by him disqualified for our eligibility checks. Nah, anyone got any more questions? We've had a couple of other inquiries in regards to references. Yeah? So if you email inquiries at Australia Awards, Solomon Islands.org.sp, which my colleague will link into the chat box, where you get an automatic reply. In that automatic reply are attached key documents. Yeah? One of those key documents is called as a reference report template. Essentially, that's similar to a reference letter. You can use it. However, if you already have a reference letter that is valid within the last 6 months and you're really happy with it, please use that. What another question where people are asking is, well, I left school a long time ago, yeah? And so accessing my previous supervisors, my lecturers, I'm a little bit hard for tracking down. Okay. So step one is essentially you need to decide that academic reference please a very essential document that you need to attach. So that means that school blue, supervisors blue, lecturers blue need to give in a reference letter or fill in a reference report there. So just a tip, it would be check them out na before the school walk up to university. Yeah. A lot of universities will post up na email address for all supervisors. That could be a good starting point. The next starting point is a lot of professionals nowadays have a LinkedIn account there. So if you have a LinkedIn account, stalk them there and then reach out to them. As an alternative, if you can't get a hold of your supervisors or your lecturers, one thing that I would advise is okay, we'll think outside the box. Okay, I will reach out to my faculty, let's say by the Bachelor's of Engineering, then go law faculty will look after na Bachelor's of Engineering and ask for general academic references
in that reference letter that they can just say yes, this person has school or this was school and that then these are particular grades and then perform well with this ones. So essentially that can be a reference letter that you can use as well if your previous supervisors or done more, you weren't able to contact. Okay, really. Oh, good. This is good. So we have a really good question again. So how if I apply as an undergraduate and want to take my family with me to study? Good question. So you can apply as an undergraduate if you're not completing undergraduate yet. And yes, you can bring your family with them you to study. We for support in that one. Our policy advises for the first 6 months we will go level first time. And the reason being is that you need to settle into your new place, secure an accommodation, and then once you settle in for the first 6 months, then you can bring your family along. Another good question is, what advice would you give to high school students in choosing a university? So for those that are in university right now, also those that are in high school right now, or at USP doing a foundation study, or at SINO doing a diploma, and who are aiming to do an undergraduate program, my advice to you is no rush. So first time, think about where you want to head off in the next like 5 years or 7. What is your passion? Because at the end of the day, if you're choosing a particular course where your heart is not in it, time of assessment comes and the exams come in, it's you who has to lead your academic education and your education. So it's you who has to do the assignments and the exams. So don't rush. First, stop if it means like doing a bit more work experience in Ponera faster before you figure out the particular passion area, doing that done faster. In that way, when you are writing an application blue and you choosing post blue, them from a place where I say, yep, I definitely know what I want to do. Another tip as well is you don't necessarily you finding a university when best fit them just because everybody says this, but every this particular university now you should go ahead. It doesn't mean that it's the best fit for you. So you need to find out, like let's say, I would do well in this particular university because academic, let's say, tutoring blotter, services blotter really good. If you struggle academically, I can easily access my lecturers, my teachers. Whereas if we go to the universities that are a bit bigger, but what one risk where you might need to consider is like, would I be able to have easy access to my lecturers? Eh? Essentially, at the end of the day, we want you to be academically successful. Kami focus at lo ending the session very. So please, if anyone has a question, ask them.